Hello my fellow Christian fiction lovers, welcome to a reading vlog. Today I am going to be reading and sharing my thoughts on If I Were You by Lynn Austin. This book has been on my radar for a while. It came out in 2020. I need to research what month in 2020 it came out because I feel like I have been wanting to read it for a super long time. Over a year at least. We are almost at the end of 2021, so that would make sense. It's a big book. It is bigger than I thought. You know, sometimes you see books online and you don't really know how long they are, what they will be like, what format they are in person. So yeah, this book is definitely bigger than I thought, but I love reading big books. I really do. Like, the longer the book, the more I tend to enjoy it, unless it's a story I don't like, but rarely does that happen. So I'm gonna read the first couple of chapters tonight and then check back in with you guys tomorrow once I've read a decent amount of it. 10 chapters in and I am already pretty hooked on this book. It started off kind of like 10 years in the future of when the primary story takes place. And I really like how it's set up. You see okay, this is where these two women end up, and then it goes back and kind of starts from the beginning, and you wonder how did they get there based on their the beginning of their friendship and seeing how close they are, that kind of thing. And I just found that really interesting. I don't think I've really ever read a book that used that concept so well, especially because we were given kind of a lot of information about these two women in 1950 versus 1940. So basically what this book is about, it follows two women. We follow Audrey, who is part of the English upper class in London, and her family owns an estate. She's rich, she's a proper young lady. And then the other young woman we follow is Eve, who once worked as a scullery maid for Audrey's family and is now a typist in London. The two girls were friends when they were children, and these first 10 chapters, you kind of see how their friendship is on again, off again. They both consider each other to be a close friend, but they also only see each other once every couple of years once they both become adults and live in London full time. Another thing that is emphasized a lot in these first 10 chapters, and I'm guessing the rest of the book too, is that both girls are secretly envious and jealous of the other one's life. So Eve is jealous of Audrey's polished and perfect life in the English upper class, and Audrey is jealous of the love and warmth that she sees Eve experience in the very close, tight-knit family upbringing that she had, and then she just has this joy in society that Audrey is jealous of. And it's super intriguing. I really liked it so far. World War II has kind of just begun, and they've both just had this really life-changing experience of volunteering with the war effort that has changed them both significantly. And I'm really eager to keep reading and see what happens next with them. 20 chapters in, and let me just say that I am so obsessed with this story. I love it a lot. We're at a point in the book where both Eve and Audrey have become ambulance drivers. So basically they drive ambulances to the bombing sites in London and then transport the victims back to the hospitals. And obviously I knew that happened, but one of the reasons I love reading historical novels, specifically World War II novels, is because there were so many roles and jobs that people carried out during the war that aren't talked about in history textbooks. You know, we just talk about the soldiers and the generals and the armies that won the war, but there were so many civilian workers that did these jobs, and that's just a personal thing that I love learning about. So seeing their role as driving ambulances has been super cool, and I love that inclusion. And also just them having those jobs has strengthened their character and brought them to be closer friends. We're also at a point in the book where both Eve and Audrey are experiencing romance and love. And because we got a couple of chapters from the 1950s and we kind of know what the end is, we just don't know how we get to the end. It's a little sad because sad things are going to happen. You just don't know how those sad things are going to happen. It's pulling on my heartstrings because they are both so happy with their respective partners, but they're also like being able to relate to them with the horrors of the war that is going on, and they just like get this glimpse of happiness despite everything, despite the hell that they're living in. Knowing that it's kind of going south is very sad. So I'm eager to see where it goes and what happens next and just how it turns out, how we get to the end that we kind of already know is present. I would also say that even Audrey's friendship, like they're kind of on the same level now. Like the aristocracy can't really be the aristocracy during a war, and so both Eve and Audrey are like at a very equal place in society. Audrey's character, she was like the socialite, and now she is just like another common worker, and that has done wonders for her confidence and her courage, her bravery. It's made her an all-around better person. Eve, on the other hand, is struggling a little bit, and I'm hoping to see if she can put herself back together. So that is where we are at currently in the book, and I will see you once I am finished with it. 31 chapters later, and I am finished with If I Were You by Lynn Austin. This was such a good book, and I really did enjoy it. I'm gonna give it a 4.5 stars. It didn't have that like wow factor that I do kind of require from 5-star reads, but it was an amazing book and I really liked it. There's just like always a little something that like pushes a book to 5 stars. I would say looking at this book from an objective standpoint, it is definitely 5 stars, but personally I'm gonna give it 4.5. The book ends so well. Honestly, the last couple of chapters, I was really unsure how the plot was going to resolve itself. There was still a lot of like plot tangles that needed to be untangled, and I really wasn't sure how the two main characters were going to sort out the like pretty major differences that they were encountering. I was so pleased with the ending and the way that both Eve and Audrey end up kind of admitting to one another that they'd both been very jealous of one another's lives and upbringings, and then they have this just kind of reconciliation is so outstanding and so, for lack of a better word, just amazing. Like I can't think of a good enough description for it, but it was such a like crucial moment in the story for both of them to realize that their envy and jealousy that had kind of been fueling them, yet they had also still been best friends for years, like that they both struggled with it. It was just so good for their reconciliation and for them to be able to continue on and rebuild that friendship. Yeah, I'm so glad that I finally read this book that I've been meaning to get around to for forever. I am really looking forward to reading more Lynn Austin in the future. Chasing Shadows, which came out, I believe, this past summer, quite a few months ago now. That is on my list of books that I need to read. I'm going to be doing quite a few, probably like 2 or 3 videos, like my 2021 reading wrap up, and then my 2022 reading goals and like books that I really want to get to next year. So look for that definitely in the next couple of weeks. Highly recommend reading If I Were You. It was a bigger book, but I enjoyed kind of taking my time. I took a bit longer than I normally do, but my life's just been crazy. Just enjoyed really getting to savor it and enjoyed the story. Let me know your thoughts if you've read it, if you want to read it now. Such a good story set in World War II, but also just the characters' personal struggles really made the story So let me know, and thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a like, and if you want to see more content like this, go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video, whatever that is. Until then, bye!